YouTube? Welcome back to another Nerdtastic Halloween episode. We are on Ghost 3 now. And before I talk a little bit about this ghost, once again, spoiler warning! That's right, I am putting a spoiler warning once again because the ghosts that I am doing for this 6-day makeup videos could be and are definitely spoilers for the movie Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and I never want to spoil anything for anyone. So my warning is, if you want to see this, please know that it will have spoilers for the movie. I do recommend just going and seeing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It is such a good movie. I loved it. It was so much fun, and that is why I am trying these makeups out. And yeah, we're gonna move into ghost number 3. So ghost number 3, I had so much fun doing. When he first came on screen, I was like, I love this character. I mean, I love all the ghosts in the Beetlejuice universe. I think they're all just so fantastically cartoony and ridiculous, and there's just something about them that some of it is like a little unsettling, but like you still kind of smile at how unsettling it is. And I mean, I guess that's Tim Burton in a nutshell. But I really wanted to try and recreate this look, and that ghost happens to be Richard, or as me and my mom have dubbed him, Piranha Dad. I loved him so much. I loved the little piranhas here and there, and also the slightly confusing, makeup around his face, because it's like slightly gory but slightly not, and also doesn't make a lot of sense, but I kind of love that it doesn't. It's the same with some of the other ghosts. They don't really make 100% sense, but you still love them. And I just loved the piranhas in him and on him, and I thought it'd be really fun to try and recreate it the best that I could. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to my voiceover, and we're going to get into this video. See you there.
Alright, let's get into our next ghosty. So for Richard's look, it is mostly liquid latex wounds. So you lay down in the shape that you want, the liquid latex. You let it dry and then put on another layer. I usually do around like 3 layers, thin layers of liquid latex for these types of wounds. Just because I feel like it's a good amount, so that when I pull at the latex, it doesn't come directly off of my face. Now this is, like I said, very liquid latex heavy, but if you are allergic to liquid latex, other ways to get these type of circular crater-esque wounds would be scar wax, or you could even use just a glue stick and kind of use it like putty. That has worked before for me as well. I'm just used to using liquid latex, but again, it's totally up to you. With the placement of these wounds, I did take photos of Richard from as many angles as I could find, so that I knew where all these little spots were. His makeup is very much just little bite marks, pretty much, because he was eaten by piranhas. So they're all these tiny little like craters, which I think is really cool, but at the same time, there's so many tiny ones. Anyway, now I'm going in and taking a dull pair of tweezers and lightly pulling at the center of the liquid latex in spots to then pull it away to kind of make that torn skin crater look. Remember when you're doing this that, number one, be very gentle, because this is your face, you don't want to hurt yourself, and always make sure that the tool you're using is not sharp. You don't want to accidentally nick yourself or anything like that. Doing stuff like this, make sure it's, you know, not sharp and you're doing it as lightly as possible because you don't want to hurt yourself. But pretty much you just kind of scratch at the center of your little liquid latex area and pull and try and get a small hole started. And then you can kind of just either pull with the tweezers or with your fingers to make the tear a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until just the center is showing. So as you can see here, I pull with the tweezers and then my fingers to just kind of lightly rip away the thin layer of liquid latex so that I get this kind of torn skin open wound effect. So as you can see here with the wounds, they're little like holes pretty much. Now I'm moving to my next area. He has some wounds on his chin, especially one right at the like side center of his chin. It's supposed to look like it tore away to his chin bone. So I'm just putting all these in and doing the same process over again. This look is definitely very repetitive, but in the end I think the look does come out pretty cool. So though it's very repetitive, it is pretty fun in the end. And as you can see here, I did redo my cheek cut, just because I didn't like the placement of it, so I just pulled it off and redid the liquid latex. Now I'm just gonna do the same steps all over again for the wounds on my left side of my face. Liquid latex, dry, liquid latex, and then lightly pulling to make the holes. Yeah, I quickly changed my outfit in this one. Don't know why. But as you can see, all of my wounds have been created. They're all gaping holes now. And now it is time for my piranhas. So for these, I made just quick little, like, kind of stands for the actual piranha out of hot glue. That way it made it easier to glue, like, use the pro-adhesive on them to stick them onto my body. But really it's just a little puddle of hot glue that I shoved a toy piranha in. And now I'm going in with some cotton and latex around the entirety of that little hot glue puddle. This is not only to make it look like torn skin, but also it kind of anchors the prosthetic down a little bit better. It gives it a little bit of a stronger hold. So I just go in with liquid latex all over everything and then some cotton just kind of brushed on top as well to make it look like that torn skin. So as you can see, I built up a whole bunch of like layers to kind of hold that in place. And now I'm doing the same thing to the piranha on my ear. He also has a hot glue base to make it easier to stick, and then liquid latex and cotton to make it look like that torn skin, and also to really anchor it down so it doesn't go moving. I will be honest, I am kind of shocked at how well the Piranha prosthetics went. I had no idea how I was going to attach these, especially this one on my ear, but using the hot glue definitely helped because it made it have a flat surface for the glue to adhere to. But yeah. Then last piranha is the one on the side of my neck, which was probably my hardest. I think I mentioned that later on too. But she did not want to stay put. I don't know why, but she was a pain in the ass. But she also has a hot glue base that I then cover in liquid latex and cotton. For this one, I do use like half pieces of a cotton round to kind of make it look like a skin flap. Because in all of the images that I saw of Richard's character, that one in the side of his neck is kind of mostly buried under a skin flap. So I was trying to mimic that. I will say I didn't do the best job on this one. I think because it was such an odd angle for me to even be applying, it does get a little rough on those edges. But overall, I really liked how these stuck and how they turned out. So after those, I'm now taking some more cotton and liquid latex and putting them into the bigger wounds to kind of give them more of a, I guess like a meaty texture is the best word I can go for. Like in the big one on my cheek and some on the side of my neck, just kind of building up that like wound to make it look, for lack of a better word, gross. Cotton really helps with things like this, like wounds that have that kind of texture. Using liquid latex and cotton definitely gives you that kind of rough, meaty texture. So I do that to all of the big wounds, as you can see here, to give them a little more texture. And now I'm going to go in with a purpley red color and use it in all of the wounds that I've made. I am going to paint my entire face blue, but because of the fact that my liquid latex is clear, I don't want to like accidentally like miss a spot. So putting the base of the red for the interior of the wounds before I go and cover everything in blue paint lets me know where those wounds are, and also kind of gives a level of depth to the wound. So that way when I go back in to touch up everything, it's a little bit easier because they already have their base coat down. Now that all of my meaty parts of the wounds are painted red, I'm going in with my blue water activated paints like I used on the janitor and just painting my entire face blue, making sure that the quote-unquote skin flaps by the fish are blue, and stuff like that. Okay, so I was gonna do a cool transition where I'd swipe the camera and then I'd become blue, but the camera never filmed after that, so let's just talk about my finishing touches. Once the base coat of blue went down, I did go in around my eyes with a purple to kind of make them look a little more sunken in, and then touched up all of the wounds with some purple for the shadows and some darker reds and spots to make everything look a lot deeper and, more like a wound. I also went in with a yellowish white on the chin and some of the other high points of some of the other bigger wounds to make it look like bone is showing, and then top the whole thing off with a little bit of mascara because, let's be honest, it's not a nerd cat look without mascara. And that's it.
And here's the final look. Overall, I am really happy with how this turned out, but she was a struggle. Getting these little piranhas to stick, even with all of the prep that I did for them, was a bit of a battle. And shockingly, the one that I thought would be the hardest, which was the ear one, ended up being the easiest. It stuck. I was able to do the liquid latex around it first go. The hardest was actually this one on the side of my neck. I don't know what it is about the side of my neck, but it was not holding on until I shoved a bunch of cotton and latex underneath it, and finally it stuck. But she didn't want to stay. But I am happy with how it turned out, especially because the character doesn't have a lot of piranhas on his face. Most of them are on his body, so I definitely wanted to get these 3 on there, since he really has nothing else up here. And I really like it. I think it's so silly in general, but like getting to recreate it was so much fun. And even with its flaws, like I wish my wounds had sharper, like kind of more jagged edges, and I definitely still need to work on my shading. But moving past those flaws, I really like it. I think I did a pretty damn good job at recreating Richard, or as me and my mom affectionately refer to him as Piranha Dad's look. And yeah, it was just a blast trying to recreate it. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you want to see more, please hit that subscribe. And if you feel ever so inclined, please leave me a comment down below. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, as always, stay nerdy, my friends. Later!